Hello dear traders, welcome back to InstaTV for another release of financial news for today. The oil market is making a downward correction after a 5% jump on the previous day. Oil prices received a boost from the optimistic outcome of the trade talks between the US and China. The Brent crude international benchmark climbed above the level of $61 a barrel. Now it is drifting lower towards $60 mark. The oil market found support from media reports that the two largest global economies have made progress on the way to a trade deal. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia also contributed to the uptrend in the oil market. The kingdom pledged to take measures to balance the oil market. The measures include higher invoices for all commodity exports to the US from February. Besides, Saudi Arabia is going to raise price tags for all sorts of crude supplied to Asian countries. The U.S. Energy Department encouraged robust buying of crude futures. The Energy Information Administration reported that the U.S. crude stocks fell by about 1.7 million barrels last week. At the same time, gasoline inventories swelled by 8.66 million barrels. Nevertheless, the U.S. crude stocks remain 8% above their 5-year average. However, this data did not disrupt the rally of WTI, so the North American grade surged to the level of $52 a barrel. Following a downward correction, WTI is expected to trade at about $51. Meanwhile, commodity currencies are propped up by rising oil prices. The dollar versus the Canadian dollar pair broke through the level of 1.3200 and after a minor correction settled up at 1.3235. Yesterday, in a widely expected move, the Bank of Canada decided to leave the benchmark interest rate unchanged at 1.75%. Notably, the central bank's officials signaled that monetary policy has to be tightened in the short term, even despite the likelihood of a decline in oil prices and the soft housing market. Today, the Russian ruble is benefiting from broad-based weakness of the US dollar and the oil rally. However, amid downward correction of oil prices, the dollar-ruble pair rebounded from 66.60, heading towards 67 points. Today, the pair is unlikely to reach the highest level of the last week. Nevertheless, the Russian currency is vulnerable to various headwinds, so the ruble can tumble versus the US dollar anytime soon. That's all for now. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.